Eat your peas! Hey, it's Joe Sixpack, hanging out. I decided to take a little break to get things going, but there's just been so much going on in the past few days. I just had to get back on and talk about it. Mr. President, I like peas. I like the black-eyed peas especially. They're awesome. And actually, I heard a good thing on one of the local radio stations here. Gentleman, the Schnitt Show, suggested that we all send President Obama a can of peas. I like that idea. That's fun. That's good. So, yeah, find out the address to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. I don't have the zip code in front of me. Send old President Barack Obama a can of peas. You know, the very least he could do is just, give them to Goodwill or, some type of pantry or something. But it'd just be fun. Eat our peas. President Barack Obama wants to raise taxes on the very super rich. The millionaires and billionaires is what he wants to do. And it sounds good, but where do you draw the line? What's the difference between small business and big business? Because it's the small businesses that are being affected by this. But some small businesses make millions of dollars, Mr. President. So I'm just trying to understand where you're drawing the line here. Are you going to tax the small businesses that are going to, or are you going to go after the big redwoods that I talk about? Where they were all propped up by your 25 billion here, 50 billion there, and all your, the spending. And, I can see why you did that, because you still think in Keynesian economics, and that we have to rely on our debt-based system of money. And the problem with this is that when you have a debt-based system of money, you cannot pay off your debts because it's self-perpetuating. It's impossible to do it simply because they're giving you more money. The banks are giving out more money than they actually own and what's even in existence. That's how they create all this. And so they just contract the credit and create these recessions for their own good, where, in this instance, it was to buy up all the housing market, buy the housing market. Because they didn't pay any money into that. Everybody thinks that they have all this money, and they don't. They have 10%, and even that's doubtful. I mean, there's been banks that have been audited that had less than 1% reserve. I wonder if we went to Goldman Sachs or Chase or J.P. Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo or any of those other banks that got bailed out and see how much their reserves actually were. That's the problem. We're getting out more money than is available, and then all the greed takes over because everybody's making money on Wall Street, and they're just putting these mortgages, they wrap them up into what they call securities, which is basically just a bunch of mortgages and promises to pay. Mortgages are just liens or another type of IOU, basically. And they send them off to Wall Street to sell them. And then they're traded back and forth and made money when their mortgage price goes up or down. The security market goes up and down. So there's even more money created out of nothing. It's a huge Ponzi scheme, Mr. President. Don't you see it? And we can, the problem is, one, we're the world's reserve currency. That means that if we exchange, if anybody in Europe or China or ever wants to buy gold, they have to exchange their yuans or their euros or your Australian dollars or their Tibetan dung poop, cow poop, that's what they use in Tibet is actually cow poop for money, believe it or not. It's a true fact. Go look it up. But they have to exchange that money into U.S. dollars in order for them to buy gold or buy oil, when they're trading. And so that basically what we do is we're exporting our dollars. We're not exporting our jobs and or anything like that. All the jobs got taken out and outsourced overseas. So that's one of the reasons why we have high unemployment. The other reason is because of the gas prices, because everybody's too chicken shit to drill. We have to drill because we have cars. And raising the prices of oil by not drilling is not going to change people's minds about cars. You got to increase the technology by putting in subsidies in the right places. They put in all these subsidies and those corporate welfares in all the wrong places. Nuclear energy. We spend billions of dollars in nuclear energy, and we know it's not safe. Everybody's saying, "Oh, nuclear energy is safe." Well, explain this to me. When the Japanese were actually had that emergency, which we don't hear about much anymore, but I'm sure that area is going to be uninhabitable for many years. Explain to me why people have to evacuate in a 50-mile radius. If a propeller falls off my wind farm, I don't have to evacuate everybody in a 50-mile radius. If a solar panel goes dead on top of my house, even though I'm still connected, that'd be stupid not to be not connected to the grid. But if I had solar panels over my house, which I can't afford it because I got to pay for $4 a gallon gas. But if they can make it affordable, and you can do that through government subsidies if you'd stop spending the money on stupid bullshit and start spending it on stuff that's going to work. Another idea here's a suggestion. Maglev cars. Hear me out. Check this out. We have an existing interstate system, and all we got to do is add maglevs to the interstate system. I'm not saying maglev everything, just the interstate system. So you could have your personal vehicle, but if you needed to go on a long distance trip, instead of taking a train or boarding passes and everything else that you got to deal with, you just hop on your car, you merge onto the maglev, and 250 miles, 300 miles an hour. What do you think of that? And then so you still have your personal choice, and everybody's all lined up, and then you have merge off lanes, merge off rails to slow down and then be able to remove yourself from the railway system. I think it's a freaking awesome idea, but hey, I'm just an ideas guy. I'm Joe Sixpack. I don't have millions of dollars to invest in it. But there's an idea for you, Mr. Barack Obama. Why don't you try that? And then at the same time, we still need oil. Honestly, anybody who doesn't think that we don't need to drill for oil is an idiot. They don't understand economics. We need Canadian oil. We need oil in the North American countries. We need to drill for more. I'm not too keen on drilling out in the Gulf, because of what happened there. But that was just a stupid mistake made by stupid company officials who cared more about profits than they cared about the environment, and they burnt through a rubber seal, which caused all that mess that happened in the Gulf with BP and everything else. There's just so much to talk about. It's just eat your peas. Why don't you try to eat your peas, Mr. President? Stop trying to spend on all these stupid government programs and let the private sector do its job. You keep getting in the way for the sake of a few poor lazy people that don't want to work. And there are people out there that are hurt or sick or old or where they can't physically do that, and I get that and I understand it, and those people should be taken care of. But there's a lot of people out there that are just pushing the system, and that's what needs to end. There, you could save some money right there. If you just went and we have drug testing for welfare recipients in Florida. Great idea. You know, if you're going to go on government assistance, you should be tested. Pretty simple, you know. I mean, you know, you're kind of giving up your rights a little bit when you're, you know, if you want to go on government assistance, uh, you know, because you know everybody's paying corporately for that, you know. But in a real free market system, there would be enough charitable contributions because we wouldn't pay in all these monies in the tax dollars, where everything would be all privatized. You know, everybody could have charitable contributions if they wanted to. I'd, you know, be able to, you know, give out all kinds of money. Uh, you know, but as long as it's being extorted out of, you know, the very rich, you know, even the medium and lower, you know, medium income people, you know, you're going to have these issues. You know, you can't enforce morality, Mr. President. And I hear you saying this. We have a moral obligation. Well, no, we don't. You know, the government's job is to make commerce work, and you do that by building infrastructure, a justice system, police, and military to keep us safe and protect us from the bad guys that want to, you know, destroy us and take us over. And then if we stop meddling and try to forcing the corporatocracy on other people, this corporatocracy disguised as a democracy, where it's all everybody's in the pockets of big oil or big government, you know, big defense, big reconstruction, big education, big medicine. It's on both sides. It's on both your sides. It's in both you guys' courts. You know, one of the reasons why I'm a libertarian, I believe most people are. The working class Joes out there, that is, not the super high elites who think they know what's best for everybody. Such as yourself, Mr. President, by the way. I thought that long remark where it was very condescending that I shouldn't be worried about where my country's heading, that was extremely condescending, sir. And I do not appreciate that remark at all. I need to know what's going on with my country because I'm paying twice as much in gas as I was 3 years ago, and I want to know why. Don't tell me, you know, I want to know why it's 100% increase in the unemployment. Yeah, it's 100%. If you think about it, 5% to 10%, that's double. So that's 100% increase in our unemployment rate. Right? Right? Is that fuzzy math? You know, 100% increase in our unemployment rate, 100% increase in our gas prices. See, what happens is in the butt kissing contest, people get further and further away from what's actually driving the country, which is the Joe Six-Packs in the world. And they get up in this elitist field where there's this disconnect. Because there's this disconnect, you know, they don't get it. They look at their CPI and all these other goofy factors and numbers, and you know, they think, you know, because gas prices are up, just, you know, to them, oh, well, you know, maybe I have to cut back on, you know, one less can of caviar a week, huh? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm almost at the end of my rant. Schnitzshow.com. Look up the Pea Party. That's what he calls it. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny, Schnitt. And good job out there. I will talk to you guys soon. I don't always agree with Schnitt, but that was funny.